HCAM programming is supported by our viewers, thank you, and by Phipps Insurance Agency, representing companies such as MapFree Insurance. Their family-owned independent agency is deeply rooted in the communities they serve and offer time-tested insurance products to fit individual needs. Since 1950, Phipps Insurance specializes in home, auto, business, condo, and renters insurance. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of HCAM News. I'm HCAM News Director Tom Nappy, here to fill you in with the latest happenings in Hopkinton. On today's edition of HCAM News, the ESBC discussed the new Elmwood School, plus much more. But first, Hiller Winter Sports competed in the MIAA State Tournament. On Thursday, February 29th, 15th seeded Masconomet hosted 18th seeded Hiller Boys Hockey in the Division II round of 32. Hillers led 4-2 heading into the third period, but Masconomet tied things up at 4 apiece and forced overtime. Alan Weitzman ended up scoring the game-winning goal 4 minutes into overtime for Masconomet, and on to the round of 16 they go. Masconomet advances on and improves to 14-8. Hillers finish their season with a record of 14 wins, 5 losses, and 2 ties. Congratulations on a terrific season to head coach Scott Hayes and the rest of the team. On Friday, March 1st, the 24th seeded Hiller girls basketball team visited 9th seeded Quincy. The girls fought hard but would fall short. Quincy took the game by a final of 55-36. Quincy advances on and improves to 18-3. The Hillers' season comes to an end with 10 wins and 11 losses. Congratulations to head coach Mike Greco and the team on a great season. On Saturday, March 2nd, 6th seeded Hiller Boys Basketball hosted 38th seeded Middleborough in the Division II round of 32. Hillers started off the game with a nice run.
And it's going to be Hiller ball. Pantera claiming possession. Willetson for 3. Yes! What a start for the Hillers. A 9-0 run to start things. Now a steal. Ianelli up for the shot. Count it.
It was an 18-14 Hiller lead heading into the second quarter.
What to do with it? Youngquist gets it over. 3 attempt. And knocking it down, Ryan Marzelli by Davenport. Shot from up top and knocking it down, Ryan Marzelli.
Middleborough outscored the Hillers in the second quarter 20-12 and led the game 34-30 heading into the second half.
Hillers hurry into the offensive zone. Pantera looking for Marcinowski out to Dadajian. Dadajian trying to work his way through, kicks it out to Cho for 3. Got it!
Hillers outscored Middleborough 18-15 in the third quarter, and it was a 49-48 Middleborough lead heading into the final 8 minutes.
Pick and roll here, Marzelli gets it over. Underneath, up with the reverse, and in goes Roach.
Middleborough came up with some big turnovers and outscored the Hillers 22-10 in the fourth quarter and took the game 71-58. Hopkinton's season comes to an end with a record of 17-4. Middleborough improved to 14-8 and advances on to the round of 16. Congratulations to Coach Keene and the team on a great season. Congratulations to Josie, Abby, and Alice of the Hiller Indoor Track and Field team. They had a great showing at the MTSCA Pentathlon this past Wednesday and captured 7th place. Also, a big congratulations to Hiller Cheer on a great showing at this past weekend's regionals. They competed hard and did a terrific job with their routine. The Hopkinton Historical Commission recently met and discussed the property of the former Hopkinton Drug, 2 parcels at 4852 Main Street and a land at 6 Cedar Street.
Richard, since I have, so this is the image that Richard is proposing. If you look in the corner, you should see my home.
And is that View Cedar right now?
That's Main Street.
Main Street, really.
That would be Main Street. And then if you look to the left, which is a little bit out of frame, there you go.
Yeah, got it.
So then,
And that very long, wide boat arch, is that like for parking underground?
yeah,
Okay, all right.
And then
Life safety fire apparatus as well.
Other kinds of uses.
Yeah, so for retail and
So would the park be in the sign on Main Street or would it be behind?
it's all underground.
All under?
Underground and behind with a courtyard in the back,
Is there 1 or 2 levels of underground parking?
one. Right?
One.
But we're still early, we are still in sort of a engineering design phase, so we have things.
Richard, maybe before you go into some of the design elements, Richard, I'd just like to back up maybe 2 exhibits just to give a little further explanation.
Sure.
I gotta take a picture of that.
The historical narrative, there's much to do about the boot factories that were there previously that were ultimately wiped out in a fire. So what our thought is from a development perspective, the next 2 exhibits are 2 kind of examples, was to kind of grab as many elements as these that we felt would kind of pay tribute to kind of that old history, from that area and from that time period. So what we tasked Richard with doing was not only a layout that we felt like kind of worked for the topography and everything else, but also layer in various elements from kind of yesteryear.
The proposal calls for the development of a mixed-use complex featuring shops, businesses, and housing.
This is your proposed rendering.
Yep, the evening rendering, indeed. So just generally, what we looked at was to try to create a facade on Main Street, which kind of spoke to some of the architecture and the vernacular that's been established over the years on Main Street. Some brick facades, some cornices, some bracketing, arch windows, and so on. And generally on the Cedar Street side, it was more of a residential feel. And you can see that as we kind of step down Cedar Street, down the hill, 3 pediments, which are working with our residential piece. And you can also see down there that there's some underground parking associated with the residential, kind of a podium, if you will, with the residential units over it. These are 4 rent units, at least proposed. And then working back to Main Street on the uphill side towards the common, we do have a public parking underneath that archway, which serves approximately 27 spaces with some accessible spaces and so on, which would feed the retail, which you can see is elevated at some level, where you get in on grade on the right side, and then you're walking on a walkway that serves the storefronts that face Main Street and turn the corner onto Cedar for a portion. And then it has apartments above. So we looked at this and, we've kind of got an urban facade and a more residential facade. And then we have a corner element, which helps us turn the corner and really bring some prominence to that intersection, which is an important intersection in Hopkinton. We've got some street trees, some benches, some landscaping, and so on, which can turn that corner. And again, residential above, some balconies, arch windows. When we looked at the architecture of the town hall and the boot factory, and just tried to pull some elements in that would, fit, if you will, the Main Street vernacular, and and also create a more of a residential feel on the Cedar Street side. So right now we're looking at, units above, retail, parking, and just trying to make it fit as best we can. And again, it's a concept at this point. And we just offer it as our kind of first pass at something that we think makes sense for that corner.
You can view the entirety of the meeting at hcam.tv/gov or on our YouTube page. We are going to take a quick time out, a whole lot more ahead. Don't go anywhere.
HCAM is supported by our viewers. Thank you. And by the Hopkinton Independent newspaper and online news site. The newspaper reaches 100% of the homes and businesses in town, and the website is updated daily with exclusive Hopkinton content. Readers can receive a daily newsletter and breaking news alerts via email.
Saturday morning cartoons are back. Every Saturday at 8 a.m., HCAM's Toon Time has an hour of classic cartoons, from Betty Boop to Superman to Popeye to Bugs Bunny and more. You'll see your old favorites and discover new ones. So tune in to Toon Time, Saturdays at 8, and start your weekend off with a laugh.
Actually, just the glory. We asked 100 fourth graders, what is a state in the western part of the United States?
Come on, world map, where are you? Confident.
Confident?
Very confident, apparently.
Fabulous. I'm Siddhiranda, and I'll see you there.
The ESBC recently discussed the media center at the new school. Here's a look. The Elementary School Building Committee continues to meet, host public forums, and to put together ideas for a new school which will replace Elmwood. At their meeting on Tuesday, February 27th, they discussed design ideas for the new school, including the library.
In prior meetings here, we've shared some developments of the cafeteria, gymnasium, main lobby. More recently, we shared classroom and breakout spaces. So tonight, we're going to share the Media Center, Arts and Tech, which is somewhat at the heart of the school. What we're looking at right here, right now, is on the left-hand side of the screen is a floor plan. This is the main floor. And if you'll recall, the Media Center is actually split on 2 floors. So 1/3 of the square footage is located on the first floor, and that's intended to be more deliberately for one of the 3 grades. So grade 2 will have its collections on this main floor, and then the 2/3 would be for grades 3 and 4. On this image, you can see over here where my cursor is, this is a zoomed-in floor plan. What you're looking at is the main hallway. The lobby is off to this side, and this is the main hallway that runs by the lower side of the media center. To describe how the space is organized, if you come in the doors, they're centrally located. The librarian is straight ahead, so the circulation desk is right there. Off to one side, the right-hand side, is a teaching area for a full class. The room is surrounded by the perimeter of book shelving, which is taller around the perimeter, and then lower stacks, I believe 42 inches if they're out on the floor. Anything out on the floor is intended to be entirely movable and not disrupt visibility throughout the space. So helps create a little separation, but is easily supervisable. The little triangles that you see here show kind of an aperture of views that we have at the top of the page. So starting with the one right at the librarian, it looks toward some loose seating areas and towards a reading or storytelling area. So that is this image here, where my cursor is circulating. You can see it's a view of the stairwell up to the 2/3 portion, the second floor portion of the media center. Underneath that stair, that space can be enclosed, but we think it's really a fun opportunity to create a little storytelling nook, a seating area. So we're having a little fun with what we do underneath. Maybe pop a few windows out to the corridor, but definitely trying to make this a fun space and a functional space as well. These are just some inspiration examples. So you can see just using natural themes, having fun with some of the furniture, having a modest level of built-ins, but making it age appropriate. And certainly we can work, the graphics and imagery into the wall, into, any of the woodwork that we have. Some of the furnishings that are shown here are kind of fun. It's soft seating, but it works in a lot of display of books or the easy access. One of the things we heard, particularly at the lowest grade levels, is there isn't really an efficiency we're looking for in what we call volumes or lining up books. The books really want to be face out, or a lot of them do, because a lot of the children select their books that way. They need a draw, something that attracts them. So there's a lot of focus on display, particularly at the younger grades. These are some more images that show, having fun with, on the left, just acoustic ceiling treatment that can take inspiration from woodlands. Some of the screens that we're talking about where we want a little bit of separation within the space, both a little bit acoustically but still maintain visibility. We can have fun with the patterns there, or just on the wall surfaces. This on the far right is an example of acoustic treatment. It can come in square panels, but it can come in hexagons too, and just a little bit of treatment takes something that's functional and makes it kind of fun.
Be on the lookout for future ESBC meetings airing on HCAM and also ESBC public forums, where the community is encouraged to participate and give their input about the new school. On Thursday, February 29th, 15th seeded Masconomet hosted 18th seeded Hiller boys hockey in the Division II round of 32. Hillers led 4-2 heading into the third period, but Masconomet tied things up at 4 apiece and forced overtime. Alan Weitzman ended up scoring the game-winning goal 4 minutes into overtime for Masconomet, and on to the round of 16 they go. Masconomet advances on and improves to 14-8. Hillers finish their season with a record of 14 wins, 5 losses, and 2 ties. Congratulations on a terrific season to head coach Scott Hayes and the rest of the team. On Friday, March 1st, the 24th seeded Hiller girls basketball team visited 9th seeded Quincy. The girls fought hard but would fall short. Quincy took the game by a final of 55-36. Quincy advances on and improves to 18-3. The Hillers' season comes to an end with 10 wins and 11 losses. Congratulations to head coach Mike Greco and the team on a great season. On Saturday, March 2nd, 6th seeded Hiller boys basketball hosted 38th seeded Middleborough in the Division II round of 32. Hillers started off the game with a nice run.
And it's going to be Hiller ball. Pantera claiming possession. Willitson for 3. Yes! What a start for the Hillers. A 9-0 run to start things. Now a steal. Iannelli up for the shot. Count it!
It was an 18-14 Hiller lead heading into the second quarter.
What to do with it? Youngquist gets it over. 3 attempt. And knocking it down, Ryan Marzelli by Davenport. Shot from up top and knocking it down, Ryan Marzelli.
Middleborough outscored the Hillers in the second quarter 20-12 and led the game 34-30 heading into the second half.
Hillers hurry into the offensive zone. Pantera looking for Marcinowski out to Dadajian. Dadajian trying to work his way through, kicks it out to Cho for 3. Got it!
Hillers outscored Middleborough 18-15 in the third quarter, and it was a 49-48 Middleborough lead heading into the final 8 minutes.
Pick and roll here, Marzelli gets it over. Underneath, up with the reverse, and in goes Roach.
Middleborough came up with some big turnovers and outscored the Hillers 22-10 in the fourth quarter and took the game 71-58. Hopkinton's season comes to an end with a record of 17-4. Middleborough improved to 14-8 and advances on to the round of 16. Congratulations to Coach Keene and the team on a great season. Congratulations to Josie, Abby, and Alice of the Hiller Indoor Track and Field Team. They had a great showing at the MTSCA Pentathlon this past Wednesday and captured 7th place. Also, a big congratulations to Hiller Cheer on a great showing at this past weekend's regionals. They competed hard and did a terrific job with their routine. It's time to tell you about some happenings in town you should know about. On Monday, March 11th, the Hopkinton Women's Club hosts their annual monthly meeting, and they'll be talking about the expansion of the YMCA. Featured guests will be Rick McPherson, CEO, and Peter Weisgerber, the CDO of the Metro West Y, and they'll discuss exciting programs and progress towards a new Y in the community on the Hopkinton-Ashland line. That's Monday, March 11th. You can find more information at our website, hcam.tv. Our picture of the week. Hopkinton Hillers Cheer had a good performance at regionals. Congratulations to the Hopkinton High School cheer team. Upcoming town government meetings include on Thursday, March 7th, airing on HCAM Ed, we'll have the school committee meeting. That meeting will take place at 7 p.m. And then at 6 p.m. on Tuesday, March 12th, you can catch the select board meeting on HCAM TV. For more information about upcoming town government meetings, head over to hcam.tv/gov or the town website at hopkintonma.gov. Believe it or not, we are out of time for this edition of HCAM News, but don't worry, next Wednesday at 6:30 p.m., we'll be back. For everyone at HCAM, I'm Tom Nappy. As always, we thank you for tuning in. Take care, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll talk to you again soon. Goodbye, everybody.
Hello, this is Muriel Kramer, Chair of the Select Board, reporting with actions taken for our meeting Tuesday, February 27th. We did open with an executive session to discuss strategy with respect to negotiations with the fire and dispatch unions and the interim town manager. We also considered the purchase, lease, sale, or value of real estate in relation to properties in the vicinity of Town Hall, South Street, property comprising of Elmwood 3 subdivision, and properties, that's 0 Hayden Row, 0 Spring Street, 0 Hill Street, 0 Cedar Street, 0 Wood Street, and parcels owned by Umina, because the open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the negotiating position of the board. We held our public forum, and we considered by consent the minutes of January 30th, 2024, and also the disclosure of an appearance of a conflict of interest for the upcoming election for an election checker. We hired Maureen, or we confirmed the hiring of Maureen Mo Salmon for program coordinator for the summer supervisory Parks and Rec job. And Jed Fenneff was promoted to assistant water and sewer manager for the DPW. We considered the mid-year evaluations of our direct reports, which would be the town manager, the police chief, and the fire chief. The town manager is leaving in the next couple of months, and the fire chief was just hired, so we did not consider interim evaluations for either of them. We did for the police chief, Chair Muriel Kramer, myself, detailed out some concerns some performance concerns that we will continue to discuss. As part of that, we also agreed that we would have an independent review of what transpired in terms of the survivors' information being inappropriately released as part of the documents we made public. So that there'll be more to come on that. We also talked about the departmental review for the police department. We did not have a status that night, but we will have a status coming up because we did receive one from the consultant that's working for the police department on Thursday. So at the next meeting we'll have that update. Shadul Manan ran us through his proposal for a town clean water PFAS remediation advisory council framework. It was very thorough and very interesting. The board had some questions in terms of avoiding duplication and how it would work with town departments and other boards. And the next steps will be an open session or a session to invite all of the stakeholders to review and comment and come in and have a conversation about the proposed advisory council framework, and then the select board will take up the decision in the future. We talked about the annual town meeting. The articles will begin to be drafted and we will start to consider those, but the town meeting warrant is set, and there certainly were no additions because the deadline has passed. So in the subsequent meetings, we will be talking about the language of each of the articles that are upcoming. We did vote to send the FY 2025 comprehensive budget forward to the appropriation committee for their review. And we also heard from the town manager on the Main Street Corridor project. Some steps have been taken to increase the safety at crosswalk locations where we used to have lights or are supposed to have lights. And we also got an update on the PFAS treatment project that is still on track to begin operation in May of 2024. That, as you know, is the interim solution to the PFAS problem, and the long-term solution is the connection to the MWRA via the Southborough interconnection. And we got an update on that as well. That is progressing. Talks with DCR are ongoing in terms of using some of their property for a necessary substation or station along the way to support that connection. And the intermunicipal agreement is continuing to be finalized. And then we closed with liaison reports and board invites. So that's the sum total of the meeting for February 27th.